This is the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, with your hosts, the technical director, the Grand Schwabini, and Hockey Jesus. Come on, Pittsburgh. Let's show a little Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates love. The Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Sports Porch Black and Gold. That's right. We are here live with you all over the world, as we are every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram. And, of course, I'm dropping the comment right now. We are live on our internet radio station, Radio PGH. That comment in your stream right there is our stream to listen to us live on Radio PGH. And I'm going to drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts.
Wow, you got a frog in your throat there?
I got a funny story to tell you in a second here. And we would love for you, jump on over to YouTube if you're not watching on YouTube already, or you haven't followed us on YouTube, smash that subscribe button at the Sports Porch Podcast. We are so close to 100 followers, 100 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 as quickly as possible.
Chris promised to do a show with his shirt off if we get to 100.
Yes, I will do a I will do a show.
Oh, you're going to see some chest hair.
We're going to be up to like 1,000 subscribers in 10 minutes.
It can't be more hair than it's already on your face.
You could always follow us on X at
Just no, I don't want to look at it.
at the Sports Porch 1. And on Instagram, of course. It
looks bad even from this angle.
I'm never going to get through. I am never going to get through this intro. So what are we going to do? Well, first of all, in the studio with me across here is the Grand Schwabini. To my right this week in the studio, he has changed chairs because he likes it over there, is Hockey Jesus. I am your technical director. Let's get right down to it. What are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to talk about something very important.
Should I stay or should I go?
Who should stay and who should go? We've got a list of the Steelers free agents. We're going to speculate on that. There's some NFL news we're going to get to. We are going to talk a little Buccos baseball because we just have to. HJ is...
Do we have to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hasn't decided whether or not he is mourning the Penguin season or rooting them on to have the worst season ever so they can get those draft picks.
Does this look like a face that's in mourning?
No.
No.
There, you have your answer.
I have that one on here too. We're gonna get
except for the people on the podcast. Sorry, people on the podcast.
We of course have a Trader Joe's snack time coming, and then a little bit of what we're watching, and I'm going to have to pull that in here because Hockey Jesus was running a little late with that.
My bad.
But I do have it right here, right now.
You got skills, TD.
I will pull it in there. So
just do it during my segment where I do all the talking.
So here's what we're going to do. I am going to add to the stage, and I want to apologize to you. If you're watching on Instagram, you drop a comment. I will try to get you into the show. I can't always see the comments on Instagram, but just share it out there. Let everybody know what you're watching and enjoy. I am going to pull up here a roster of the Steelers' impending free agents, and we are going to talk about them, and every single one of them is going to have this option.
Should I stay or should I go?
So let's start with TJ Watt.
No, is he under contract for one more year?
You don't want to start with TJ Watt?
You've got the wrong list.
Oh, okay. Oh, I need to do...
You need to go to the free agency and then click on the Steelers.
Oh, free agency and click on the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh. What is my problem?
There you go. Now all you got to do is pick the Steelers.
Where? Where am I picking?
Scroll.
Free agent.
Well, you got it like zoomed in like a billion.
I know. I can't remember how.
Try and click on teams.
I did. Okay. Here we go.
There you go.
Okay. So I have to go to teams.
Yeah.
Oh, free agency.
Yep. Free agency.
Free agency tracker.
No.
Free agency release tracker. Signing grades. Spending.
No. Just click on free agency.
Free agency. Okay. I did that. See,
It's like we need a
It's
producer.
not doing anything.
Oh my God, you're
Okay,
there. You go. Now click on the Stillers.
Yeah, click on the Stillers. What is that? What are
They're to the right.
What do
They're
they
to the
start
right.
with?
Keep one over. One more.
There you go.
There
Click
you
on
go.
the Steelers.
If you would like to be a producer for our show, please apply at
then I have to go
Pittsburgh
to
@gmail.com.
Contracts table, free agency.
God, no, I don't even know where you are.
Well, you're the one that told me to go.
You didn't go to free agency.
Steve, you've got the list.
I got the
read
list.
it. Let Steve
Just
read it.
put that off.
Yeah.
The first person on the list is Preston Smith.
Okay.
He's an edge rusher. Current APY is $12,500,000.
Should I stay or should I go?
Okay.
Go.
What do you think, Schwaber? Edge rusher.
Yeah, I mean,
they got him in a pinch.
They got him in a pinch. He may have been useful if they had played better at the end of the year, but kind of turned out that they didn't really need what he provided.
Well, he did when TJ was hurt and Highsmith got hurt. He kind of played okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like, I think at this point of his career, he's an average player. I would say
33 years of age.
He's old. 12.5 is too much. I think he goes.
I agree. I think Preston Smith did okay for us. It was a good nab at the time, but we can do better with that $12.5 million.
Yeah.
Put that towards a wide receiver, maybe towards the quarterback contract. Yeah, he's got to go.
I'm 100% with you on that. Nothing else to say. They brought him in to shore up the defense and add some depth to the line. He contributed very little. They had a shitty season at the end of the year. No need to keep him on the roster.
Is your head still spinning from your technical director work?
Yes. You guys get to sit here and do nothing, okay?
That's okay. I understand.
This is like the talent shows up. And
we did put this on you at the last minute moment.
Okay.
Next person on the list, but we're going down the list in terms of the highest contracts, and eventually we'll just stop talking about it because people worth $1 million aren't worth talking about.
Next,
Mike Williams, wide receiver, makes $10 million, 31 years of age, played in 43% of the snaps.
Should I stay or should I go?
All right.
They need wide receivers.
Yeah. Badly.
Go.
Yeah. We want to hear what you say. We want to know what you have to think. So you put stay or go.
Well, what I'm going to say, look, it's a little confusing because
it is confusing.
The guy obviously has some talent, but he wasn't used very much. And the reports that we got from the people supposedly inside the Steelers is that he just wasn't getting open. I don't know that to be true or not.
Right.
But I'm just going to say with the production that he put up, I would say go.
Yeah. How much do they save under the cap?
$10 million. That's how much they'll get back into their cap.
Go.
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult, actually. This is more difficult than it seems because they need wide receivers. I'm going to use the premise they're going to go get another wide receiver.
Right.
To replace him, and they'll replace him with that Wilson guy that they got last year. But they're still going to need a deep threat guy. I mean, Hardman's out there. I mean, there are a lot of wide receivers out there, and we'll talk about guys out there in the free agency. But yeah, it's got to go. I agree. I think we both agree there. Next up on the list, right guard James Daniels. He got injured, so he didn't play much this year. $8.3 million under the cap, only 28, and only played in 18% of the snaps this year because he got hurt.
Should I stay or should I go?
Schwaber, Grant Schwabini, Daniels.
I say go. I thought Mason McCormick played well. We don't need him. Let's take the $8 million.
I think this line has issues, and unless they plan on drafting another offensive lineman, which they don't have a whole lot of draft picks this year.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to draft somebody.
Would you say coming back from injury is an issue?
Yeah. I mean, this is a tough one.
This is not an easy one.
I think he stays. I would just for depth. Yeah, that's where I go. Stay.
Yeah, clearly they haven't signed him, so they're not making him priority. But I guess we'll see who wants him. Guys, the offensive linemen are like gold. More tackles and centers than guards.
Right.
But I think they should keep him. I think that's a guy they should keep. Honestly,
okay.
I think they have offensive line problems. They're probably going to get rid of the other guy on the left end, Dan Moore Jr. They're not going to re-sign him. That's what it comes down to. Do you re-sign Dan Moore Jr. for the $8 million and give it to him, or do you just do you keep Daniels at the $8 to $10 million range? I'd keep him. All right, next up on the list, Dante Jackson, cornerback. He played 71% of the snaps, 30 years old, makes $6 million.
Should I stay or should I go?
I don't know if I'm going to get this guy's name spelled right.
Donte, Donte.
Oh, well.
This close.
That's how I'm spelling it.
Oh,
Deontay.
Okay.
Should he stay or should he go? What was the cap number?
$6 million. 30 years old, played in 71% of the defensive snaps.
I would keep him. I don't think they will, though. I don't think they will. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft a corner pretty high. And I think that they do like what's the guy who's played a little bit towards the end of the year? I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah, the other guy.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They like him. I'm going to say that they don't keep him, but I think they should.
Corey Trice.
Yes, Corey Trice.
Corey
that's right.
Trice.
Yeah, but I think that they won't keep him, but I think they should. I mean, didn't he have 6 interceptions last year or something close to that?
Deshaun Elliott. You're talking about Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah, you're thinking Deshaun Elliott. Yeah, He's the other guy.
Marvin Hamilton's in the house. Good evening, Marvin.
Marvin, what's
up? He did have interceptions last year. Look it up.
He did. He had some. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, as the season went along, he didn't play as well towards the end of the year, but so did a lot of the team.
Yeah.
I would keep him.
I think you have...
you can never have too many corners.
Yeah, I would say you keep him just because he played 71% of the snaps. He's familiar with the defense. You've got some bigger holes to fill along the defensive line, I think. And also at linebacker.
Marvin said he had 4 picks.
There you go.
That's pretty solid.
Marvin says 4 picks. Yeah. 4 picks. So I say, I say you keep him.
Yeah. I mean, for $6 million, if you could sign him for that again, I think he's a keeper just because I'm looking at the others on this list. You guys don't have this, the ability to do this, but they also have, and we won't talk about all these guys, but Cam Sutton's also UFA, and so is James Pierre. So I think they'll probably get rid of those guys.
Yeah.
And that's a total of a couple million. And you keep Dante Jackson. I do agree with you, though. I think they're going to be looking at cornerback in the first or second round.
I'd like to see second round, not first or even third round, to be honest with you.
I mean, who knows what the Steelers are going to do?
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that first and second round picks are going to be a cornerback and a wide receiver, depending on what talent's there.
Okay, who's next on the list?
Next on the list, so I'm saying keep Dante Jackson.
Okay, so I think that's all three of us say keep. Okay.
No, Mark said he's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no,
he said he would keep him.
I would keep him, but I think the Steelers will let him go.
That's right.
Next up on the list, quarterback Justin Fields. He made only $4.7 million last year. Played 36% of the snaps, is 26 years old.
Should I stay or should I go?
All right. Grand Schwabini, Justin Fields.
By the way, I agree with Marvin. Cam was trash.
Yeah, he was trash.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back, Marvin.
Yeah, that was ridiculous what they did with him. Anyway, go ahead, Grant Schwabini.
Well, when I'm watching a lot of the NFL programs, a lot of them have Justin Fields going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Because apparently, like you got Chip Kelly with a mobile quarterback type of thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, if I'm the Steelers, I keep him. I think I make him my quarterback next year. I maybe try to get like a Jackson Dart, like in the late second round.
You've been listening to Joe Starkey.
No, I watched the combine. He can really throw it.
Yeah,
he can really throw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they should take a flyer on like a quarterback, like within the first 3 or 4 rounds. And maybe that's kind of like your backup plan. I would keep Fields. I think Tomlin does like the idea of the quarterback that can run.
Yeah, he says that all the time.
He absolutely said he's got to have a mobile quarterback.
So I'm gonna think that they're gonna keep him. They just have to basically tell him, you're our guy, and Russell won't be back. And I think if they do that, they can get him at a reasonable price.
I see. The thing about this is that he's not. This is just,
get it out.
This is such a mess. That's
it is a mess.
It's such a mess.
They haven't signed him yet. They didn't make any effort to do it.
He's not signed. Well, that's the behind the scenes stuff that we don't really know. I mean, to think that, and we hear a lot about this, but as a tangent,
come on, we've seen enough football. We know
right.
what they're doing behind the scenes.
Well, right. To think that either Wilson or Fields, the Steelers aren't having a conversation with them all the time is ridiculous. Of course they are, but they're also having conversations with other teams. So this whole Raiders thing, to me, if I'm Justin Fields, I want to go to the Raiders because first of all, they're going to spend. Well, hear me out on this. They're going to spend money.
Nobody ever says they want to go to the Raiders.
But that's not true. A lot of people do. It's the mystique. It's kind of like a Steelers mystique. Not as much. Don't get offended, Steelers fans. I'm with you.
Ask Devontae Adams how well that worked.
I know, but just hear me out here. If I'm Justin Fields, I'm going to, if I go to the Raiders, I'm going to an organization that Tom Brady is involved in. Pete Carroll is the coach. Like you said, Chip Kelly. It's a mobile quarterback thing. It's time to start over, and he will be the number one quarterback there, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
And they will pay him. It's Las Vegas. Okay. So, and as a younger player, sorry, do I want to hang out in Pittsburgh? Or do I want to hang out in Vegas? Look, I'm 54. I would rather hang out in Pittsburgh. Vegas is nuts to me. But if I'm a 26-year-old Justin Fields, I'm hanging out in Vegas. That's where I'm planting my flag. And so the question is, should the Steelers keep him or let him go? I think the Steelers should keep him, but I don't think he's going to stay. He doesn't care if he leaves the Steelers, if they're left in a lurch. He's going to go where the opportunity is best for him, not just as a football player, but as a person. And I think that's probably where he's going to end up.
I think the only negative that the Steelers have for them is going with Russell Wilson at the end, the rest of the year after Justin played.
Yeah.
He's probably, I mean, I would be like this in the back of my mind. Russell Wilson, one of these two are not going to be around. Okay. Let's assume Russell Wilson goes. Then Justin Fields can feel secure that he's going to be the guy.
Right.
The question is, does he want to sign with the Steelers now for $25 million, or does he want to see what he can get on the open market? I think that's probably why he hasn't signed yet, because his number's too big for the Steelers. And, he can probably get it on the open market. So that will be a problem for the Steelers, because if he gets to the open market, he's gone. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be another team like the Raiders, like the Giants, maybe the Jets, going to have the cap space to be able to give him 35 or 40 million for 3 years. And they will. And that's not something the Steelers will do, although they need to start putting money into this quarterback position soon, or they're not going to have one.
That's true. Now, Mark's wife, Amy May, agrees with me. So I don't know what that means.
Well, she means she likes Justin Fields.
That means
Fields,
set aside the good food at Trader Joe's with on Saturday.
The Raiders thing. Marvin says he said he didn't want to learn another playbook. I know that, but
yeah, that may be true, Marvin.
I
but
don't think that
when you're making $40 million versus $25 million,
I think you'll learn another playbook.
I think he'll be happy trying to learn another. playbook. Danny, I don't know.
OC on Instagram says, "Don't you guys think it's starting to feel like it's getting too late to decide on a quarterback?"
Yes, OC.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We've been talking about this for weeks. I've gone on rants about it.
Yeah.
How I think it's ridiculous that the Steelers don't pay attention to the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't put any money into it. And seemingly think it's just a spot they could put anybody in.
Well, and think about it like this, right? They probably didn't even have a chance at Deebo Samuel because they couldn't tell Deebo Samuel who the quarterback was.
Right. I mean, why would you come to a
Right.
team that doesn't have a quarterback?
Right.
Yeah. Agreed. And not that I think Deebo Samuel would have been the end all be all, but
Right.
it's only 1 year contract,
Right.
$17 million.
Right.
Okay, so we all
Better than Mike Williams.
Yes.
we all think they should try to keep Justin Fields.
Yeah. But we'll know. When is it? March 12th?
Yeah. I think-
when free agency hits?
It's a 50-50, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
We really don't know.
Yeah.
We don't.
And
Okay, next guy on the list. You ready to move on?
Yep.
Next guy on the list is Nate Herbig, right guard for the Steelers. He didn't play at all last year because he got injured in the preseason. $4 million under the cap, 27 years old.
Should I stay or should I go?
All right, Nate Herbig. Should he stay? Should he go? How much is the cap?
$4 million.
$4 million.
We're getting down there, so we're running out of players soon.
I mean, I guess for an offensive lineman that's a backup, $4 million's not bad. I guess the problem
He's
is
not good.
Yeah, that's the problem
Yeah.
is that he's not good, but we also didn't see him last year, so we couldn't even see if he improved.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
That's a good
You know
point.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So they probably have a better sense if they like him or not. So therefore, I don't know what the decision will be, but I'm going to say if he's on the team for $4 million, he's probably going to stay on the team for $4 million.
Yeah, he'd be good backup. Chris?
Yeah, I go back to my previous comment about the offensive line and depth and how are you going to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
So I say he stays.
Yeah, I think, well, I already said keep Daniels. So if we keep Daniels, he's got to go. But between the two of them, they got to keep one of those guys to keep some depth on that offensive line. Next on the list, linebacker Landon Roberts played in only 43.8% of the snaps, 31 years old, $3.5 million.
Should I stay or should I go?
Schwaber, the Grand Schwabini, Landon Roberts. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah. I mean, they got him from the Commanders, right?
I guess
No, somewhere else.
I'll keep him. I mean, I think it's not a lot of money. And he made some plays last year, and he only played about half the snap, so I'll keep him.
Yeah, I think he was kind of like the plays that he did make were some big plays.
Right. It's like I'm not doing cartwheels, but I'll keep him.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
I think he's kind of like a core guy, presence in the locker room that they have issues there. Now, a lot of people have talked about the fact that Patrick Queen didn't show up this year. You got to remember, if you're not an absolute superstar, and Queen is good and he can be great, but if you're not an absolute superstar, you walk into a new locker room, a new team, new egos, new playbook, new defensive coordinator, new coach. It could take you a year to catch up to whatever's going on, plus whatever you have around you. So I'd like to see him stay because I think Patrick Queen could have a better year next year than he has this year. Not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
But I just think that you always, when you're talking about positions like this, sometimes you got to give these guys a year to settle into the system. So
they got Peyton.
I'm keeping.
They got Peyton Wilson coming up too. He played some last year as a rookie. I think if you get rid of him, that means he's going to be your full-time linebacker, and you just got to go get somebody else for $1 million or $2 million to back him up. I wouldn't keep him. I'd let him go.
Okay.
I'd let him go.
Marvin says keep. He's a big hitter.
He is a big hitter.
Yeah.
You're right about that, no doubt. Next on the list, Chris's favorite player on the team, Najee Harris, running back. I think you remember him. He played in 50% of the snaps for the offense. He's 27 years old and made $3.2 million.
Should I stay or should I go?
Grand Schwabini.
I would let him go, but my inside sources say Tomlin wants to keep him.
Wants to keep him, yeah.
So
I've
I
heard
think
that.
if Tomlin wants to keep him, he's going to be back. But I would say go.
Yeah. You guys know how I feel. He's got to go. He's
You disrespect him.
He's not. No, I actually respect him. I think as a person, from what you only see part of the picture.
What about him as a person do you
well,
like?
just the fact that you're funny. You're funny.
About this much.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just say that I don't know him as a person.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, when they declined to pick up his option, he performed like a professional. He's never missed a game. These are all the things that everybody who praise him say, and
it's true. I mean, he does have good character.
The Tomlinism, that your best ability is your availability, which is going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, that's definitely sure.
Because if that was the case, then I'm available to play running back.
Yes.
Well, at least for the first play.
Yeah, right. Half of it because I'll be running the other way. But everybody knows where I'm going to fall on this. It's simple. He's got to go. Start over. I said this 3 years ago. He was not the answer. We know he's not the answer. Definitely not keeping him.
You do realize when you say the answer, it's as if you're saying like he has to be the guy to lead you to the Super Bowl.
No, this is coming from an Eagles fan where I correctly predicted that Saquon would lead them to a Super Bowl victory. What I'm saying is,
so you're making it about you.
No, what I'm saying is he's not your answer at running back. There's a lot of other pieces, but we know he's not the answer at running back. He is never a threat to take it to the house. Never. Okay. Willie Parker was a threat to take it to the house. And I would rather have Willie Parker. I think most of Steelers Nation would rather have a guy who could run like Willie Parker. And he didn't set any real records, right?
Except for Super Bowl rushing.
Thank you.
80-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Exactly, which you will never see from Najee Harris in his entire career. He's got to go.
The Steelers are far from getting to the Super Bowl, so I don't think that's a problem.
I know. Marvin says keep him, fix the line.
Yeah.
You know what, Marvin? Let me just jump in here with Marvin real quick.
Be nice to Marvin.
Here comes the disrespect.
No. Of course I'm going to be nice to Marvin. But Marvin, tell me. Well, actually, we don't have to have this discussion. I'm just going to ask you this question. Yes, the offensive line has had problems, but when there is a hole and it is a clear-cut hole, have you ever seen Najee take a quick first step towards that hole and accelerate through it? I think you know the answer. He can't do it. And
he has.
I've seen it. But the problem is when he gets 3 yards down, he's running as fast as he is with that first burst.
Right.
He's got another gear. There is no another gear with him.
That's right.
It's what he is. He likes the contact. He would rather run into people than run into a hole, I think.
Yeah. But Marvin, you're right. I mean, you fix the line. So
can I get on this Najee thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Here's why I think you should let him go. One, you didn't sign him to the 5th year, so you already told him he's a piece of shit.
I don't know if you went that far, but you told him he's not worth it.
Basically, you said, we don't want you next year.
Right.
Disrespect.
So, I mean, if I'm Najee, I already got a chip on my shoulder about that.
Right.
The other thing, too, is if you look at the free agents, you got Aaron Jones, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, he's garbage. A.J. Dillon's over the hill. Chubb. But you could pick up Javonte Williams. He only made $2.2 million last year. The problem with Javonte Williams is he's not always available because he gets hurt. But he's got the speed. He would definitely fit that scat back much better than Najee. So I think for that reason, I think you let him go. But I think Mark's right. If the head coach likes him, if Tomlin likes him, he'll be back.
That hurts. That really hurts.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay, who's next?
Who is next? We're getting pretty low on the list, but we can talk about DeMonte Kazee, safety. He only played in 26% of the snaps. He's 32. He made $3 million.
Should I stay or should I go?
KZ.
I say go. There's a million KZs out there.
Yeah, I agree with you
I'm
there.
100% with you on that, too.
All right. Other wide receivers that are on the list. Scotty Miller, Van Jefferson, and Scott's favorite, Bennett Skoranek.
I'd probably keep.
Should I stay or should I go?
Sorry, Grant Schwabini.
I'd probably keep Skoranek. And
Skoranek, 28 years old, $1 million.
yeah, I definitely keep Skoranek. And I might even keep Van Jefferson. I mean, now I know that's not going to sit well with a lot of people.
Van Jefferson played in almost 64% of the snaps, $1.3 million.
I mean, look, Van Jefferson did make some plays, and
he's not a bad fourth receiver.
yeah, like that's exactly it. Like if
Right.
he's your fourth receiver, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a number 2, which is what he had to play this year.
Yeah, he's definitely not a number 2.
Right.
He's barely a number 3.
Right.
What do you think, Chris?
I think there's so many problems with that receiver core, starting with George Pickens, which we can fight about in later
Well,
shows.
he's not a He's not a free agent.
I know. Maybe next year we'll talk. Next week we can talk about his option. But I Skoronek's a good special teams player. I mean, you have to consider some of these guys.
Right.
I'd keep him for
Players.
special teams.
I'd keep him for special teams.
You can pay him $1 million and put him on
Van
special
Jefferson,
teams.
I could live without. There's a million Van Jeffersons out there. I'm sorry, just like you said about KZ.
I don't think there's a million Van Jeffersons.
Well, maybe 600,000.
No, I would say, what's 4 times 32?
128.
There's at best 128 Van Jeffersons.
Okay, well that's a lot. That's a lot to choose from.
That's quite a variety you got out there.
Yeah. So I'm just I think other than Skoranek, the only reason Scotty Miller is popular is because people in this town love the name Scotty. Scotty Miller's going to score that touchdown there.
Scotty Miller only played in 18% of the snaps. He was a non-factor. If he goes, you won't even miss it.
Look, no. I know they're going to keep at least one of these guys.
Probably.
And I'm thinking it's going to be Skoranek, but
I think
I could live without all of them because other than Pickens having the real talent in that room, which is a shame because he's such a jerk off, sorry. I think they can get rid of the whole room, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't even remember. Maybe Mike Williams, I said keep him, but I think I said let him go too. They got to retool that whole room. But first, they got to get a quarterback. Okay, I digress.
They do. They got to get a quarterback to lead the wide receivers.
All right.
Retool or rebuild?
Both. Re-up. Redo. Are we done with this, or are we still going
think
on?
there are a couple guys that I think are worth talking about.
Okay.
Isaiah Loudermilk, he's on the defensive line. He makes less than $1 million. He's 28 years old. He's been garbage for the Steelers.
Should I stay or should I go?
The button's a little touchy. But just as you were saying, he's been garbage for the Steelers.
Yeah.
I'm going to just jump in and say, let him go. They need to draft an entire defensive line. That's what they need to do.
Go. This is the draft to do that. It's supposed to be very deep defensive line draft.
I think first pick, second pick should be D-line all the way. That's me.
We already spend too much money on the defense.
We'll do the draft.
Well, you're not a GM.
No,
so you don't know.
Yeah, but I was right about a lot of things.
I've
got a
very
whole
few.
year.
What do you think? Loudermilk, keep him?
No.
Let him go. I agree. Let him go. The last one, he's a restricted free agent.
Oh, restricted.
But he's worth talking about because he'll be high on the list of things to talk about once the Steelers figure out their quarterback and their wide receivers. Is Jaylen Warren? He's a restricted free agent. So
definitely come back.
Should I stay or should I go?
The question isn't should he come back? Should they give him an extension?
Yes.
Should they give him a couple more years, sign him for maybe $2 or $3 million for the next 2 or 3 years, and just say we got our backup running back?
Absolutely.
I think he brings
energy.
I think he brings more energy. He's got a better burst. The problem is he's a little undersized and he can fumble the ball. So
as can every NFL running back.
But I mean, he seems to have. He's a little loosey-goosey with it.
He's a little goosey?
Loosey-goosey with the pigskin.
Loosey-goosey with the pigskin, yes.
And that's pretty. There are some jabronis on here. Calvin Anderson's a guard. Max Sharping, didn't even know he was on the Steelers. we talked about Dan Moore Jr. You know, you're going to have to re-sign him for $8 or $9 million. He's making $1 million now. That's not worth it.
Although Tomlin likes him.
Jeremiah Moon, yeah, he liked him because he played almost all the snaps and he only made $1 million. Of course, he likes it.
Right.
Ryan McCollum is the center. He's garbage. And Zion Gilbert didn't even know he was a cornerback for the Steelers until I looked at
Neither did I.
So all them will go.
All right. Listen, you guys can catch the Sports Porch podcast right after the show. We drop it on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcasts. And of course, you can subscribe to us. If you're not watching on YouTube after the show, head on over to YouTube at the Sports Porch podcast. Become a follower and a subscriber. We're trying to build that to 1,000 followers as quickly as we can. And you can also listen to us on Radio PGH at radiopgh.com. That's our internet radio station. We drop shorts all week long. We drop shorts on X. We drop shorts on our videos on X. We drop shorts on Instagram. We drop reels on Instagram, and we drop shorts on TikTok. So follow us on any of those places. We would love that. If you listen to the podcast, leave us a review, comment anytime. We love to get you guys involved in the show. This is what it's about. We are, 3 lifelong fans. We don't pretend to be insiders, but we feel like we have a pretty good handle on a lot that goes on in the game. And the best part about this is when you participate with us and we get to have arguments with you, because then I'm not arguing with the Grand Schwabini or Hockey Jesus about how bad the special effects were, and we can concentrate on the real issues.
Amy, you might be excited about this. Amy says she loves the shorts.
Of course she does. Of course. Amy loves everything I do, Mark. Which is why she follows me down to Trader Joe's every week and seeks me out and says, "Hi, Chris." That's what she does. I'm at the register. "Hi, Chris."
Well, it's very nice of her to do that.
Yeah,
it probably brightens your day.
I love seeing
you
her.
could probably give us some more free food.
I love seeing her down there. I really do. I think it's great. I love seeing I see the counselor down there all the time. He comes in and says,
well, he doesn't have a job.
He loves those
right?
frozen pizzas.
Well, he does have a job.
He does have a job.
Well,
he thinks he has a job.
Well, it's a consulting.
Consulting.
Well, I think you think you have a job too. I do. I actually do have a job.
Right.
Yeah. Right. For the first time in a long time. Okay.
I've been fully employed my whole entire life.
There you go. Congratulations. Congratulations. And we're proud of you. We're very, very proud.
Have you been at the same place like the whole time?
No. I've been at 3 or 4 different places.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But you've been at this one for like 20, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been at my current job for like on and off for about 25 years. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And that being said, it looks to me like
it's time to pass that biscuit.
It is that.
Hey, Lauren.
It
Thank
is. You. It is that. It is that.
Do you like my?
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Disappointing.
Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce.
Steve Bandano.
Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
All right, that song means it's Trader Joe's Snack Time. Yes, indeed. Trader Joe's Snack Time, sponsored by my lovely wife, the Pittsburgh Property Diva. You can find her at pittsburghpropertydiva.com.
Oh, you know why it has chicken in it.
Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's is not an official sponsor. They don't pay us for this, but they did give me permission. What does that mean? Well, that means that every week I work at Trader Joe's down in East Liberty. Stop down any day, usually from 1 to 9 p.m. Say hello. And I bring a product home. We try it. We give you our honest opinion. We tell you if we like it, if we don't like it, and then we move on with the ridiculousness of this show. Now, this week.
Wait, if I come down to Trader Joe's, if I say, "Where's the cranky old man with the bad beard?"
Right. They'll find me.
Yep. You'll be the only one.
Yep.
How do we know?
No, I won't be the only cranky old man with a bad beard. We don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, all right.
Maybe you'll be locked up in the freezer in the back.
I might be. Or I might be dead in the freezer in the back too. All you got to do though is look. I have a yellow highlighter colored beanie cap on. So just look for the human highlighter. That's what they call me.
Okay.
Human highlighter. Okay,
interesting.
I like it.
The human highlighter. Jeff Paulus is in the house from sunny Florida. What's up, Jess?
Jeff, send some of that sun up here to Pittsburgh. Please.
Okay, so here is our Trader Joe's product of the week. This is one that It's new, and a lot of people are buying it. I've heard good things about it. I have not had it, but it's intriguing. It is French onion mac and cheese. So
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't have chicken in it.
Okay.
I know we're not a whole bunch of mac and cheese fans here.
I like mac and
I know
cheese.
the butternut squash mac and cheese did not go over well.
Well,
I
it
didn't
not.
like it either.
I do like French onion soup very much.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm intrigued by it.
But I'm not a big mac and cheese fan. So this one, kaboom! I'm ready to be blown away.
All right, so she didn't give us extra plates.
That's okay. Just
or
pass it
spoons?
around.
Did she bring
Yeah,
spoons?
forks. Here you go. You want to try it first?
Sure.
And
So there's nothing for me to put it on.
No, just
have a few bites.
have a few bites.
Of course, here's the napkin you never use.
Yeah, I'll take one of those
Yeah.
unused napkins.
There's your fork. Yep. How is it? What do you
He's
think?
going in for a second. It
Not
must be
bad.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Must be okay.
Sassy, go lay down. Our mascot is down here as always.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
All right, got her. Let's see what we got. Fork me. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
All right, I'm gonna go for it. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, shaking your head. I have not had it. I have actually not had any of our mac and cheese except the Hatch chili mac and cheese, which I think is really good.
Mhm.
And then we tried that butternut squash, which I thought was horrible. All right. Let's give it a whirl.
Full disclosure, I do like mac and cheese. I'm a big fan of mac and cheese, all types.
Mm.
The creamy, the Kraft, the kind with the small noodles that got the powdered sauce. I love it all.
See, I'm not a mac and cheese guy,
I know you're not.
but I thought it was pretty good.
It does. It definitely has a French onion
Yeah.
taste to it.
Yeah, it does.
No doubt about that. It's not just like we're going to throw some French onion salt on
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I would eat it. I would
With the
eat it.
croutons on top. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's definitely got a different. It's got a different flavor
it's
to it.
definitely good. I'm just not, I'm probably not buying it, is
Right.
what I'm saying. But if it's offered to me,
Yeah.
I'll eat it.
If it's a side dish at somebody's house,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
would you take a big scoop or a small scoop?
Small scoop.
Small scoop.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd go for the big scoop. I think
Yeah.
this is pretty good.
Yeah. I give it a.
It's got to have like 40 grams of fat in it.
Yeah, I have the box upstairs. I could look it up, but
No,
I
it definitely has to have.
I got to tell you, I get the Amy May says you're spreading your germs to each other. Amy May, we lived together for quite a while in college. I'm
Yeah.
sure we
That
spread
happened a
lot.
long time ago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're actually now related via DNA. I'm sure that was
Mhm.
probably too much information.
No, it's probably true.
I give it a thumbs up from the standpoint of as mac and cheese goes, frozen mac and cheese. It's got a lot of cheese. It's got a lot of mac.
Yep.
Better than some of the frozen mac and cheeses I've seen. The croutons to add the French onion part. I'm not sure. I'm 100% on that.
I like the croutons.
Well, I like the croutons, but it's almost like they're croutons.
It's like
Yeah,
they
you're
tried
right.
a
You're
little
right.
too hard
Yeah.
instead of.
It's not like a piece of bread.
They
like
didn't actually no, I'm okay. They didn't actually
I'm good.
like make French onion soup and mix it together.
Yeah.
They just said, we throw some croutons in, they might buy it.
Needs a little more French onion.
Yeah, a little bit more
Well,
French
good,
onion.
good mac and cheese got a crispy top.
Yeah.
Sometimes you put the panko on top.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just cheese.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I think they tried in the right direction.
Now, I will say that my wife made some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had.
Yeah.
2
Mhm.
nights ago. I
Yeah.
came home from work and she had made homemade mac and cheese.
Ooh.
Homemade
And
mac and cheese. would be
Everything she
killer.
makes is really good, but this blew my mind.
Get
so
out.
I'm kind of comparing this to that since I get at.
I feel so terrible. I forgot to bring the cookies.
Well, that's between you and her.
I know. I'm in the doghouse now.
I'm just glad that I passed along the message.
Oh,
and
you
I-
did. You
you
gave
had-
me ample time to get them done too. It wasn't like
You had-
you called me on Sunday and say, "Hey, by the way, Lauren wants these cookies." It
You
was
had-
like on Tuesday.
You had special cookies?
Well, you didn't come to our Super Bowl,
That's right.
That's true.
but I made Mama Kelsey's cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had
they were
one.
really good.
Were they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lauren blessed me with the opportunity to have one. You should see this.
Was it chocolate chip or like what was it?
Yeah, it's like a chocolate chip, but
it's
the
like
way
a little bit of cinnamon in it.
yeah,
or
there's a
something.
little bit of
Mhm.
cinnamon in it, and they're kind of thick, and they're, the way you make them, they're kind of creamy in the middle. So
Okay.
So it's not like a
Is it like a hot chocolate in the middle?
Nah, if you put them back in the oven, but these weren't like that.
Okay.
But they were soft, but crunchy on the outside.
Delicious.
But yeah,
they were. I was not allowed to have one until there was like 2 left.
I think Lauren kept like we probably brought 40. She kept 30 of them.
Yeah, I mean it was. And she ate them. She ate them every night. And if I got close to them,
She was like, I'm down to 6.
I was taking my life into my own hands.
Oh yeah, I got to make it up to the property deed.
Oh, that's
all right. So how do you guys feel? Trader Joe's snack time.
I give it a thumbs up.
French onion mac and cheese. Giving it a thumbs up. Schwaber.
Mark's even on this one.
Thumbs up.
I'd say even towards.
Well, there you go. Trader Joe's snack time.
Taste the biscuit.
I only play the song so I can eat.
Goodness of the biscuit.
Well played.
Okay. Taste that honey sauce. Mm-hmm. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with that honey sauce. Mm-hmm. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
All right.
I almost forgot the chicken wings.
Yeah, maybe we'll have the chicken wings again. Okay, so as I finish this mouthful of French onion mac and cheese from Trader Joe's, I want to thank you if you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube,
Thank you.
and not LinkedIn. Damn it, Instagram. And of
IG.
course, remind you that
TikTok.
we're dropping the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. You can catch the Sports Porch podcast on YouTube at the Sports Porch podcast. Do me a favor. We got a lot of people right now watching on X. Hop on over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, watch our shorts on YouTube, watch our shorts on TikTok, watch our reels on Instagram. We drop a bunch of them every single week. And thanks for being here, guys. We really appreciate it. Drop comments, leave a review. We love it all. We're trying to grow the show. We got a big draft coming up here in Pittsburgh in a year.
Yeah.
And we want to be there.
We're going to get a booth.
We want to be there. That's what we want to do. Okay, so I have a question.
We should just go down there now and stake our place.
Yeah, and just like stay, bring sleeping bags. I have a question.
They don't kick people out for sleeping down there. I can tell you that.
Should the Pirates be renamed the Pittsburgh Skeens? Because that's pretty much all we have to look forward to. I mean,
well, they got Bubba Chandler fever now too.
Yeah. Well, look,
is he pitching well in the preseason?
No.
Oh.
No, it's just because he's up.
Oh.
Here's the thing, guys. We know that there's a lot of Buccos fans out there. And truth be told,
sorry, Buccos fans.
Truth be told, Steve and I are both Buccos fans. However, it is very hard to be a Buccos fan right now.
No, it's impossible.
And there you go. And I think
it's not hard.
It's impossible. That's right.
That's what she said.
So how are we going to do this year? We want to provide something for everybody regarding the Buccos. We want to talk about them. We want to get you involved. We would love to be positive. And I was thinking about this week, because I'm listening to.
We would love to be positive. That's true.
I'm listening to sports radio.
Maybe we can about the team.
I'm reading the blog posts on the Post Gazette and on the Athletic, and I'm thinking to myself, everything everybody is saying who has any sort of media presence is this constant rehash of ownership is terrible. GM makes bad decisions. It's a complete minor league team. We got nobody, this and that. The O'Neill Cruz fever is starting to wear off because we're seeing what he really is.
It has.
We have no first baseman. We have no shortstop. Our second baseman is a minor leaguer still. Hank Davis is a bust. It just goes on. Key Brian Hayes should retire because his back is horrible, which is probably true. It's probably true.
4 years in, he's got to retire.
Right. But then in the same breath, they say, "Oh, we're gonna have a really good pitching staff this year."
Yeah.
Look,
did you see what Jason Kendall said?
I heard about what he said, but you're gonna have to remind me.
He basically said, "There's no way this team can't. They should absolutely be in the playoffs this year."
I mean, what a load of shit.
He said they should. They actually. He must, because either that or he's delusional. He's been on these retreats with Aaron Rodgers, smoking the ayahuasca or whatever it is they smoke there. Yeah. But yeah, I heard that and I was like, I don't even understand how you can get there. Like, should be competing for a pennant like this team, the team that did nothing in the offseason to better themselves, even though they probably have maybe a top 5 pitching staff. They could have a top 5 pitching staff.
That's where I disagree.
No, I think they can. If everybody plays to the best of their ability, they're a top 5 pitching staff. They have that talent right now.
I disagree. I think they have potentially the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, definitely the National League. I think Jared Jones, it remains to be seen. Okay, he had a great first part of last year. Then he got injured. He wasn't that good. Mitch Keller did what Mitch Keller always does. He got off to a fast start, which he never did until 3 years ago. He got off to a fast start, and then he fell apart the rest of the year. Bailey Falter is exactly what Schwaber said he was going to be last year. Right. He also tends to get off to a good start. And then basically, I think these guys get tired, which I think is ridiculous considering the way pitchers used to pitch. But anyway, and this Haney guy, who the hell knows? I think.
But look, you just named 5 pitchers. You can't name 5 other players for the Pirates. What I'm telling you is you know these guys, they're names.
They are major leaguers.
They can play. They're made to be pitchers, starting pitchers. And our reliever didn't have a very good season last year, so you think he's going to rebound this year. So I think their pitching staff has an absolute chance. But when you have a pitching staff like this and you make zero effort to go out and get better by hitting the ball or actually getting players who play the position to fill them, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
As an organization, you just have to say, like, they have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely no clue what they're doing. And that's, for me, that's where I say it's very easy to just forget about them because they forget about us, the fans.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
true.
It's, I want to know what you guys out there think. How do you want us to cover the Pirates? Do you want us to be critical and cynical, or do you want us to try to find a silver lining? I mean, it's really hard. I mean, now sometimes silver linings create themselves. What happens if Brian Reynolds gets off to a hot start, which he's not known for doing, but what happens if O'Neal Cruz gets off to a hot start? And he's got 10 home runs in the first 3 weeks. Those silver linings will highlight. But if I'm looking at this Pirates team, what I'm saying, and I agree with you to a certain extent, Steve, they have 5 major leaguers on the roster that are starting pitchers.
Right.
One of them happens to be a guy who I still reserve final judgment on because he only pitched most of the year last year. But he's definitely, I mean, if he pitches to his potential, top 3 pitchers in the league, no question about it.
Yeah.
If not the best.
Mm-hmm.
After that, though, everything else really is a question mark. I don't care,
Well, I look at the Pittsburgh Pirates and I say, if you cut these guys, would somebody pick them up?
Okay. And the answer is yes.
And all those pitchers absolutely would get picked up right away. Right. They would never go down to any minor league team. The rest of the team, probably all don't get picked up, or if they do, they're going on the farm team somewhere because they're just garbage as far as the rest of the team is concerned. Right. So that's what I say when I say they're major leaguers and they can do something. The rest of the team, I mean, maybe somebody would give O'Neal Cruz a chance just because he's got the pedigree, but that's about it. That's about it.
OC on Instagram is asking if Cherington is still the GM. Yeah, of course he is. He thinks he's a clown, and he says he saw an interview he did. He used every stupid platitude known to mankind.
Oh yeah, he has to.
He always does.
That's what he gets paid to do, unfortunately.
Just mentioning the Pirates and all your faces got red, and you could feel and hear the anger.
I'm glad it comes across the boob tube that way.
And he says, I'd say be honest like you guys are. I mean, I hear you on that. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Mark was quiet during the segment. He's really our baseball guy because he's been watching real baseball the last 5 to 6 years.
The Phillies. Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Mark?
Well, look, I mean, it's exactly as you said it. I mean, the pitching staff is decent. You know, you got one headliner, and then you've got, in my mind, you've got two guys who are really solid.
Mm-hmm.
The last two guys, I don't know, but they're starting major leaguers. So look, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a top 5 staff, but I would say it could be a top 10 staff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the pitching is good. And the bullpen always seems to be pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they just can't hit.
Nothing.
They can't hit. I mean, when Brian Reynolds is your best player, I mean, you know, that guy on like the Dodgers, you know, bats 8th,
7 or 8. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
mm-hmm.
you know, that's the problem. And yeah, I mean, look, sure. I mean, something good might happen this year. You know, maybe O'Neal Cruz figures it out and becomes, you know, an all-star quality player. But even if he does, then you just have one.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, because then he'll make it instead of Reynolds. And actually Reynolds won't even make it now because Skeens will make it
for sure.
Right. So, you know, there's just not enough. They really haven't put enough into the lineup. When the payroll's as low as it is, you just have no chance in baseball.
Yeah. Agree.
For the most part.
You just don't.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Mike Lawrence is back in the house. Hey, Mike, I don't know who the hitting coach is. Could a good hitting coach make a difference with this team? No. I mean,
it might make a difference, but not to the point where we would recognize.
It could make a difference with a guy like O'Neal Cruz, who's young and needs a hitting coach.
Yeah.
But a guy like Spencer Horowitz, no. You know, Kiner Falefa, no. I don't think so. Key Brian Hayes, no. Brian Reynolds already knows how to hit the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, so no. I mean, I think the answer is just no. And okay, fine. We'll cover the Pirates. We'll be honest. Look, I'm praying for a miracle because when I was doing the Buccos report a couple of years ago and they were winning, even though we all knew what the end was going to end up being, when they were winning, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And when they were winning, they weren't winning every game.
No.
But they were winning 2 out of 3.
They always start off well.
Right. They do seem to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's the opposite this year. Like they start off really bad.
Yeah.
And then they start to figure things out throughout the year.
Well, they do play the Yankees in the first 3 series. They start in Miami, they go to Tampa, they start at Miami, they go to Tampa Bay, then they come home for the Yankees.
Well, who are the Yankees? They lost their best guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still a little better than the Pirates.
I'm just trying to add some, some levity.
I know. All right. So
by the way, here's what I'm going to do with the Pirates. I'm going to give them 20 games at a time. And I'm just going to reassess after 20 games. It seems fair. That way they get 8 sections throughout the year for me to say, yep, I'm still in this or I'm out.
That sounds
By the way, a little funny note. I know this is something that could get Klein riled up, but you know that they're doing this in spring training now, and and it's possible that they could do it in the regular season with the the box to determine strikes and balls.
Yep.
So it would be that you get 2 shots at a game if you're successful. You keep that shot. So Trey Turner used to be teammates with Max Scherzer when they were on the Washington Nationals, won a World Series together. And the guys on the team were like basically like putting up money, saying like, we want you to challenge Scherzer on the first pitch no matter what. And he's like, I'll do it. And people were like, no, you're not going to do it. He was like, oh, I'm going to do it. So he did. Scherzer threw a pitch right down the middle on the first pitch, and he challenged it. And they were
well,
both,
you challenge it, you go like this.
And they were both laughing about it.
Yeah. That's because he promised Scherzer some of that money.
Yeah, probably.
I didn't know this, but there's like a percentage. The strike zone is bigger for bigger guys. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
It said something about it's something about 17%. Now I don't know if that's above or below, and then 50%. I think 50% above of your height, and then 17% below, like up to your knees, and then that's the size of the strike zone. So if you're a 6'2" guy, it's a bigger strike zone. That's how they do it.
I don't mind.
It looks just like when you ever see the box on TV. It just looks exactly.
It looks the same, but it's actually a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Thanks for the Buccos update in spring training. Yes, spring training means nothing, but I don't mind having the ability to challenge the way they challenge in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of it because I think it takes away from. I'm a traditionalist for some things in baseball, and I think it takes away a little bit from the game, from the flow of the game. If it's like, strike and then he taps his helmet,
but it's like instantaneous. Like the reviews would like take 5 seconds.
I get it, and that's a good part about it.
Yeah.
What I hope is that they don't go to complete robo umps, because I don't
think they will.
I don't think they'll ever
do that. You ruin the integrity of the game. And by the integrity of the game, I'm not talking about the integrity of the strike zone. I'm talking about the fact that it's a humanized sport.
You know what they might do, though? They may have the umps with the little earpiece in, being told if it's a ball or a strike.
That would suck.
Then you would take everything out of it.
Right.
So basically, you're using it. You just don't know they're using it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a conspiracy. I hate to do that sometimes, but they could do it.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
I like with only having 2 in the game. You obviously have to save it for an important time in the game. So it's like 2 outs, bases loaded. Batter doesn't swing and he thinks it's a ball.
Yeah,
that's obviously a challenge.
I think what'll happen is you'll see the ones that are challenged that the batter wins. Let's say it'll like barely be in the strike zone, so it'll be like so close. It's like, what are we doing here?
Okay, let's move on to.
I love it though.
Let's move on here on the Sports Porch Black and Gold edition all over the world on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and of course, head on over to YouTube. Subscribe to our channel there at the Sports Porch Podcast. We would really love that. And also, you can catch up with us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. I drop it right after the show, so you can subscribe there, follow us, leave a review. We would love that. We're gonna go to HJ real quick. This is Hockey Jesus to my right in the studio. Hockey Jesus preaches after almost every single Penguins game now. You can follow Hockey Jesus on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast, where he does a quick podcast after every Pens game. Tells you, what you need to know, what you don't need to know, what's going on here. We know they're
the season's over.
We know they're falling fast.
Yeah.
Maybe I should ask you, does Alex Ovechkin scoring perhaps, breaking Gretzky's all-time goal record?
I hope he does it the last game of the season, the one that I'm at.
So I know you bought tickets. So how does that make you feel?
I love it.
As a hockey person.
I love it. I think it's great for the game. I think all records were made to fall. This one especially because Gretzky played a lot of seasons, and he was the favored son forever. Played it in a different era than Ovi did.
He did,
and honestly, Ovi's got a good shot at getting to 1,000. I'll be honest, because what does he do well? He plays the power play. What do you have to not do on the power play? You don't really have to skate. All he's got to do is set up on the dot or a little bit above the dot. That's his office, and you just feed it to him, and he still can boom that thing. He's got a great shot. He's always been able to place it perfectly. And I think it's great for the game. I love it. I wish that the NHL were touting it more than they are, but I think it's because he's Russian, not Canadian. The Canadians, the Canadians, the Canadians still rule the NHL.
Yeah.
Even though, the United States is coming along with their programs, but there's just so much volume of hockey being played in Canada. You'll never get that out of the game. I just hope that at some point, maybe 5 or 10 years from now, they realize how ridiculous and what an opportunity they missed to take a great record like Gretzky's record. And Gretzky's great about it. I'm sure he's going to be going to every game once he gets within one goal.
Well,
to be there when it happens. He's
a true champion.
Yeah,
he's a true champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think it's great for the game. I'm happy it's happening this year. The year the Pittsburgh Penguins are finally completely out of it, with 20 games left. The last 2 years, they really haven't had a shot, but they've played well enough that they end up in what I call the pretender status, which is we're 6 points away from a playoff spot, so we're going to make it. But those teams that are in the 6 points away, they still have to play at like a 750 win percentage to be able to get the 93 points. And that's the mark. You get the 93, 95 points, you're going to make the playoffs. If you get to 90, you might have to win a tiebreaker, which means you need to have a lot of wins in regular time to be able to. That's the first tiebreaker. So that's what's going on in hockey right now. The Penguins, they're not really in free fall. They actually are playing pretty well. Happened to be at that Flyers game on Thursday night, the one that they did win. That was just an incredible game to be at. Just the atmosphere. I think despite having such a terrible season, the fans are still showing up, and I think that's very impressive. I'm surprised. Like overall, I think the sellout rate is still in the 90% for a team that is basically out of it and hasn't been in or relevant for 3 years to have a 90% attendance rate. I think it's a testament to the franchise and what they're doing to kind of keep fans in the seats. Right. And I think that could be good moving forward once they do get younger talent up here next year. I don't believe they will bring up the younger talent this year just because they're so far out of it. I don't think they feel like they can, if they bring up Koivunen or McGroarty and those guys, they're going to get anything out of these guys right now. I'd like to see them bring like 3 younger guys, put them on a line and just see how they could play together. They just sent Bloomquist back down. Bloomquist can't play up on this team. The defense is so horrible when you have POJ and Ryan Graves playing with Carlson and Ryan Shea. There's no hope for the goalie. I don't care who's in there. And that's why they brought Jari back up. Jari might as well play. Jari might as well play the rest of the games because it doesn't matter if we win or lose at this point. So might as well let those other guys develop down in Wilkes-Barre and, hopefully do something for the AHL.
Would you say that Iceberg is having a good season?
Iceberg is always rock solid. Hits that drum really hard. Boom, boom, boom. Slides down that banister like a beast. And hey, when they do occasionally win, he's out there with the flag on the center ice. He's just flying it around.
Can penguins get avian flu? Can penguins get avian flu? Does anybody know that?
They're birds.
I hope not.
No.
I hope not.
They're birds, aren't they?
They are birds, yes.
I think you have to fly to get
They are flightless fowl. OC says,
look at this.
HJ, can you recommend a good beginner whiskey for watching Pens games? Maybe he's just trying to forget about the season.
Super easy, OC. There's a couple of them. I suggest Elijah Craig.
That's a whiskey?
Sounds like a Mormon.
Yeah. It says from the guys who know nothing
It's a good, whiskey. Affordable whiskey. If you can get it, Buffalo Trace is probably just as good. If you want a little bit smoother and a little bit higher price, Angel's Envy.
Did you see that documentary on the Buffalo Trace? How they stole?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great. And
it's a great one.
They have so much whiskey, and they have more whiskey than people in and whiskey barrels
really
than people in Kentucky.
I believe it.
It's true.
I believe
so. That's what's going on with hockey. I'm looking forward to watching. The technically the Penguins could go 18 and no, they would have to go 17-2 in order to make the playoffs.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's still a chance.
All right.
So according to you, they got two losses.
2 losses to go. That's right. That's my assessment.
There it is.
Once you have more than 2 losses, you're going below 93 points.
There you go. Mike Lawrence says, I second Elijah Craig and Buffalo Chase.
Right on, Mike. Good stuff.
Okay, let's move on here to the last segment of the evening. And the Grand Schwabini is going to tell us what this is and what it's all about. Grand Schwabini, take it away.
Well, as you know, this is the portion of our show where we give back to you, our fans, our audience, our watchers, our listeners. We know how hard it is when you are in front of the TV trying to figure out what to watch. There are so many channels, right? There's so many options. HBO Max, Apple TV Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Freebie, Tubi, BB, Booby. And it just goes on and on and on. And you don't know what to watch.
Scooby Dooby.
So, good news. You don't have to watch anything except this right here, right now. We will tell you what to watch if it's good. We will tell you what to skip if it's not good. We're here for you. We are your extension.
All right. And the only qualification for what we are watching is that you have to finish the season you're in.
Scooby Sassafras.
Scooby Sassafras. There you go. Yoho Son's back. Thanks for being here.
Mhm.
You have to finish the season.
Sassafras.
The season you're watching, you have to have finished it. You don't have to finish the whole series or the documentary or the movie. You have to finish, complete the entire thing so you can give a review. We're going to start with the Grand Schwabini. The Grand Schwabini, you are watching
Season 2 of The Recruit. It is on Netflix, and I finished off season 2. Season 2 was a quick one. It was only, I think season 1 was like 8 or 10. Season 2 was only 6. But I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, it's one of those where, like, if my best comparison to it would be The Night Agent. I feel like if you like The Night Agent, you'll like The Recruit. It's just fun. You know, it's just like this guy, he goes to law school and he becomes a lawyer for the CIA. And you kind of, essentially what kind of happens to him is he slowly begins to realize that, like, when you're a lawyer in the CIA, you're not just a lawyer. You've got to get your hands dirty quite a bit.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of like a mix of, there's some humor in it, and it's a lot of good action, and it's just plain fun. I mean, it's not like award-winning or incredible or anything, but it's just, you put it on, 50 minutes goes by, and you haven't looked at your watch once.
All right.
Wow, that's pretty good.
The Grand Schwabini, The Recruit Season 2 on Netflix. HJ, you are watching something we've highlighted here before. I think it was the Grand Schwabinis.
Yep.
There it is.
This is called Dark. I actually watched
it on Netflix?
It is on Netflix.
Okay.
I watched the first 2 seasons, and I finally got through the last season, season 3. And like I said before, it's a tough watch. Like it's a story about time travel, okay, and how time travel actually gets created. And then there are all these different timelines. So you have all these German, and it's in German. So you gotta read the subtitles. That's what I like to do. And they're figuring out basically what timeline the person that's going back in time works for their timeline so that they can survive. And like, other people die, so they're also trying to save other people in the same instance. But they're finding, like, there's like a cyclical thing. Every 33 years it happens. Somebody dies. Sometimes it's their friend. Sometimes it's the other friend. And they're all in this one neighborhood. And I was like, I have to see this to the end, because the end will either say, I say, watch it or don't watch it. And I have to say the end is good. The end ties everything up. It does take it to the very last episode.
That's interesting.
You have to watch it the whole way to the end. But between that, there's a lot like you feel like, I've seen this before. I don't need to see this again, because they go in and out of different timelines. But they do wrap it up really well, and I think you'll like the ending. So if you like that kind of sci-fi, time travel, different parallel universes, I say stick with it. But it is a difficult watch. It will take you some time to get through it, but it's worth it when you make it to the end.
And I heard you were going to make some comments on Cobra Kai this evening.
I did watch Cobra Kai, and I second Mark's remarks that he did last week. Absolutely. First, you have to suspend that this is real.
Right.
Okay,
'cause it
this is stupid. Like all these kids fighting and the things that happen and the adults fighting karate.
The big brawl.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, if you accept that and you like nostalgia, this movie is this episode, the final episodes. I think I watched 9 straight.
Yeah,
to watch it to the end, and it's absolutely worth it. 100%.
You watched 9 straight?
I did
over the weekend.
Yeah, well, I took Friday off, and I had a lot of time on my hands, and I couldn't stop watching it. And I was like, why stop watching it? I'm not doing anything else. I just want to finish it, and I agree, it's absolutely worth it. And I did shed a tear.
Yeah, right. You have to admit that brawl was the most ridiculous thing ever.
So ridiculous.
It was so stupid.
And I'm not going to give away anything.
Right.
But what they did with Kreese and Silver, fantastic.
Okay. All right. So
that was so great.
HJ's watching Dark on Netflix, and he also gives a thumbs up to Cobra Kai. I have returned to my roots. Actually, though, I want to say that today I did look at Dark on Netflix and almost started it, but didn't have time to click the button. I had to finish watching something else. But I will probably watch that. I am watching, or I have completed watching, a documentary.
Of course.
Surviving Black Hawk Down.
Oh, okay. I saw this. Netflix.
Did you see it? Yeah.
No. I saw the episode. I was interested.
I watched one episode and stopped. I didn't think it was that good.
Interesting.
But you share your thoughts.
I think it is. Well, for me, I'm a pacifist when it comes to war. I think that war is
also known as
no, you know
pussy.
What? I think I did. You know what?
Yes.
I think I did finish it.
That was a Johnny Lawrence.
I think I did finish it.
Thank you, John.
I did finish it.
Yeah,
really? Yeah,
so
I did.
It wasn't memorable at all.
Well, I will say this. There was one thing that I really liked about it, but why don't you give your review?
Okay.
This is your time.
Thank you.
Time's yours.
Thank you.
Mr. Pacifist.
Back in '93 in Mogadishu, those of you old enough to remember will remember that a couple Army Black Hawk helicopters went down. They were supporting a UN peacekeeping mission and humanitarian mission to try to get food. There were a civil war going on, which, by the way, is going on to this very day.
Amy's reminding you.
Yes.
Mark, we watched all of it and liked it. See, you liked it.
I think Amy fell asleep for a lot of it.
Well, she said you liked it.
Right.
So what it basically is, it is interviews with the survivors, the Rangers, Delta Force, Army pilot, chopper pilot from the United States, as well as the interesting side of this is the Somali war fighters.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting. You don't see that often.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You would.
No, and some of the citizens. I think for me, it was a very interesting take on something that happened many years ago in our lives when we were much younger and probably had much stronger opinions, which I don't even remember back then. And it exemplifies the dedication that our military servicemen have for the people that they fight with. It's unrivaled. I mean, for me to say, like Steve, Mark, we're best friends here, the three of us. For me to say I would take a bullet for you, like, I'd like to believe that was true. Like, I would like to believe that was true.
But you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
When the bullets start flying, he's out that door.
I was waiting for that.
I mean, you are a pacifist. I mean,
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a different level.
But we have never been in any. So we've had a lot of fun times in our lives that could have led to injury. Okay, but we never were in the middle of like 2,000 people with machine guns firing straight at us and blowing off our friends' arms, and been like, "You mean you're sending us home? I want to go back."
Right.
I mean, so from that perspective, I got to tell you that, and I believe that this is the way it is for most people in any sort of armed service around the world. If you fight for your country, you know,
Right.
that's how you're trained.
Yeah.
But it just, every time you see this, I'm watching another one on Vietnam right now, which I'll probably review in a couple weeks. Same kind of thing. These guys are now in their 60s and 70s. And the same thing. So God bless you if you're in the military. I mean, you can't find more dedication than that. That being said, I completely disagree with any of our guys being in any other country fighting for, like, this whole humanitarian mission in Somalia was a clusterfuck to begin with. We should have never been there.
It's like, what were they even there for?
This is the
Just
US,
trying to drop off some food.
right. And maybe we can have a show about
In
Somalia sometime
with warlords.
Right.
Did you think it was going to go well?
But here's the thing that I noticed. There were people there. They were interviewing the war fighters, the guys that fought for the warlord, and they hate Americans. And they hate Americans because one of the women summed it up. She said, first they showed up to give us food, and then they showed up and they shot all of us. And, like, that's the perception.
Right.
So going back to the documentary, I thought it was an excellent documentary. I got to see the real life story right out of the mouths of everybody involved.
Yeah, those are cool. I like that.
And it's only I think
three episodes. Those mini episodes
Yeah.
are usually only
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an excellent watch. I would suggest that everybody, if you like that kind of stuff, I would suggest you watch it. And the Grand Schwabini apparently loved it, even though
I just to be honest, I mean, like, I guess the thing for me was there was not much different from the first episode to the last episode.
Right.
I mean, it was the same thing over and over and over.
They could have done it in
it's
an hour.
because they kept getting shot at. You know, but
I don't know.
hear you.
And I also kind of like something was there was like a movie called Black Hawk Down.
Yes.
Yeah, there was.
And I really liked the movie.
Right.
And I don't know. I just sort of felt like it could have been better. That's all I thought.
Yeah.
Normally, the real life stuff isn't as good as the movie.
Usually, yeah.
So that's what it is. They're giving you what really happened. Like the movie was great.
Was Mark Wahlberg in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you did,
he was in the movie.
I found
not
him to
in the
be
documentary.
slightly more heroic.
yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's sad.
All right, that's the show for tonight. Thanks for watching the Sports Rock and Roll edition. Drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcasts.
Anywhere.
And of course, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Sports Porch Podcast. For the Grant Schwabini, the technical director is me, Hockey Jesus. I am out.
Jablonski.
Jablonski.